suspects, both dressed in black, and inside the business on the south side is what we're being told. Lincoln 3, we're being advised that one suspect fled in a black SUV westbound from the location. We do not know if we still have an active shooter. We supposedly have 2 down inside. We'll be making entry. We have several down in the conference room, several down, several medical. We have at least 20 victims.
We've seen the barrage of news reports. People running, SWAT teams responding, a community shattered. Another active shooter attack in one of our schools, shopping centers, even where we worship. In fact, an active shooter incident occurs in the U.S. at least once every 2 weeks. But what is an active shooter?
According to the U.S. federal government, an active shooter is an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a confined and populated area. In most cases, active shooters use firearms, and there's no pattern or method to their selection of victims. Recently, though, active shooters are now classified as those who utilize any other means, such as knives and vehicles, to engage in a mass killing.
These attacks are swift, senseless, and brutal, and they seem random. But are they? What if we could go back? Were there signs that were missed, certain behaviors, a comment, an online post, or an action that seemed strange? Were there physical signs of what was coming?
The truth is, active shooter attacks are rarely random. According to an FBI publication, The School Shooter, a threat assessment perspective for an active shooter, the path toward violence is an evolutionary one, with signposts along the way.
We call these signs before an attack pre-incident indicators. PIIs are defined as preparatory actions and behaviors that one takes prior to either a terrorist attack or a criminal act, such as an active shooting.
Pre-incident indicators occur at certain points during an attack cycle and can be seen by those in close proximity to a potential subject, such as coworkers, friends, or close family members.
Attack cycles can be short or long, but experience tells us that those wanting to commit such acts go through most of the phases in an attack cycle.
Just how common are PIIs prior to an active shooter attack? In a joint report published by the FBI, U.S. Secret Service, and Department of Education, it was revealed the shooters showed concerning behaviors in nearly a third of all incidents studied. And many experts agree that this number is much higher.
In fact, according to the FBI report on targeted attacks, Making Prevention a Reality, targeted mass attacks are just that, targeted. Forethought and planning go into the attack. These are not spontaneous, emotion-driven, impulsive crimes emanating from a person's immediate anger or fear. In fact, there is no evidence in the research to date that snap mass murders occur at all. The perpetrators often have a grievance, and they take time to consider, plan, and prepare their attack. This is one advantage that threat assessment teams have. Preparing to engage in violence almost always requires time and action, which in turn allows for opportunities for bystander observation and reporting.
PIIs take many forms, and no one behavior should be considered definitive proof of an imminent attack. However, we must be vigilant in spotting clusters of the following PIIs.
Suicidal ideation. Signs of research, planning, and preparation. Recent acquisition of weapons, ammunition, personal protective gear, tactical clothing, or other items, which is a departure from the individual's normal patterns. Recent interest in explosive devices or acquisition of parts to construct one. Contextually inappropriate, intense interest in or fascination with previous shooting incidents or mass assaults. Drastic changes in appearance. Sudden withdrawal from life pattern. Sudden cessation of medications or other substance abuse. Sudden onset of reckless sexual, financial, or other behaviors that may suggest a lack of concern for future consequences. Preparation of statement or farewell writings. Recent acts of novel or experimental aggression, including trespass, animal cruelty, or vandalism. Any effort to physically approach an apparent target or close associates. Evidence of items left for the target to find, even if they appear benign, such as flowers. Evidence of surveillance without approach, or attempts to breach or circumvent security measures. Sudden change in social media behavior. Direct or indirect communications or threats using multiple methods of delivery, escalating in frequency or intensity, or which demonstrate that actual surveillance has occurred.
The earlier we identify these PIIs, the better our chances of mitigating the damage or even preventing an attack altogether.
chances are that the PIIs of an attack will not be observed by law enforcement, but by a friend, family member, a colleague, or even a passerby. We're asking everyone to keep their eyes open and don't hesitate to report any of these pre-incident indicators immediately to your threat assessment team, security director, HR, and the authorities.
Identifying and reporting PIIs could save lives. We can't do this alone. We need your help.
One last note. If you see any suspicious activity at work or at home or while you're out anywhere in Southern California, please fill out a very short suspicious activity report at www.jric.org or jric.org. As either a law enforcement officer or a private citizen, it just takes about 60 seconds to help stop the next active shooter or the next terrorist attack on our homeland.
The bottom line is, nothing happens in a vacuum.
Remember, nothing happens in a vacuum.
Remember, nothing happens in a vacuum.
Nothing happens in a vacuum.
Remember, nothing happens in a vacuum.
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 To learn more about the InfraGard program and membership, please go to www.infragard.org. That's www.infragard.org.